Disclaimer: the views of individual students at Veterans Tribute do not reflect or represent the views of VTCTA. Also, don't condone spirit summoning or any other ritual that may be mentioned today. Hi, I'm Julie.
Hi, I'm Cassie.
Hi, I'm Ernesto.
Hi, I'm Ada.
Hi, I'm Talkie.
Hi, I'm Kaylin.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
Hi, I'm Cynthia. And today, for the spirit of Halloween, we're going to be talking about the paranormal. So I'll start saying that, what do you guys think of people who actually do this for like a living? They go into like haunted houses or where supposedly like weird stuff happen and they just video what they do. Like, what do you think?
I think that a lot of it can be faked. So I used to watch Ghost Adventures with my older sister. We would watch it all the time. But as like the years went on and the show grew, it got a lot more like dramatized. So then it just kind of felt like fake after a while.
At the same time, though, I think it's like really beneficial in the sort of way where it's like it nurtures the idea that ghosts might exist and they're out and they could be out there and people are out there looking for them, and I think that's really cool on that part. But yeah, a lot of it could be dramatized, and that's the sucky part about it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't believe in ghosts, because I do. I'm just saying, like, with whatever fame came from it, it kind of got more dramatized so that they would get more views and more money. That is my piece.
I think I think the same way. It's just at some point some shows do keep it real still, and like they keep to like, okay, this is what really happened. And it's also like the views of the person. Like there's some people like, okay, my little nephew, he watches Sam and Kobe, like they're ghost thingies. And there some of the comments like, oh, this is fake, oh, they staged it. I think it also just depends on the person's perspective of what they think is and isn't real.
For example, like what you said about people who do this for a living, I feel like people that do that type of stuff, they got like some loose boats, because what is with you? Were you trying to mess with like the spirits and stuff? Like, why are you trying to mess with the demons and stuff? I don't know. That's just weird to me.
I mean, curiosity is a very, like, it drives people super hard. Like, I don't ever want to get possessed or something like that. I don't want to encounter a ghost. But every chance I get to see a ghost, I will visit that area.
No, honestly, more of like when I was in middle school, me and a couple of my cousins and my sister, we would go out to like haunted parks and like look for ghosts and go ghost hunting. It's more of a curiosity and like adventure type thing. It's a lot of fun. It's creepy, but a lot of fun.
I feel like also half the time the people who want to find ghosts and see what they're like and see if they're actually real, it's not just curiosity, it's probably like helping them overcome something. Or like if you want to talk to a ghost, it's probably because you have a family member that's passed away and you just want peace. Because I know that my uncle, he's a spiritualist and he works with like a lot of people, and my uncle, he's a spiritualist and he works with a lot of people and he helps them find peace with the loved ones that have passed away, and he also does like fortune telling, I guess. So like how do you say it? Like
does he use like tarot cards, oracle cards?
I don't know. Yeah, he's like a psychic, but he uses the spiritual world to like help him tell the stories.
There's
I
a
don't
word
know.
for this, and I forgot that
Yeah,
word.
there's a word, medium.
There it is.
Like a medium, yeah. So it's like he tries to help other people with it too.
Can I interject real quick? So Kaylin told me some stories from her family about the same uncle. And she was talking about voodoo parties where your family dresses up in white. Mm-hmm. And you found a turtle on a plate in his bedroom.
Oh, that was his actual birthday party.
Okay. But they don't let you watch these ceremonies that happen. I talked to Sam. She's also Cuban. She was saying like there's some really paranormal stuff in your culture.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? Like what goes on, what you do know, what you don't know?
Okay, so I don't ask a lot of questions. So it's very vague what I do know, because I don't like to mess with the spiritual world that much, but my family is like a big believer in all that stuff, and I believe in it too. I just don't like to mess with it as much as they do. And the Cuban culture, it's based on a lot of spiritual stuff. And so, like I said, my uncle's a spiritualist. So he'll like, I don't know how to explain it that well. He'll like guide the spirits, and like if anything is going on in our family, like if we're having like bad luck for like a ridiculous amount of time, he'll like not like a seance, but like kind of like a seance.
Like a
So it's
But
cleanse.
like, yeah, like a cleansing. He'll do like a cleansing, and like there's different animals that are involved sometimes. So
Wait, like sacrificing animals?
yeah, like
Like is there blood
like they're
involved?
like
Drinking
yeah,
of blood?
like I said, like I don't witness these things because I don't like to witness these things. So my mom, whenever something like this is gonna go on, she tells me, hey, like just stay at like a friend's house for this period amount of time because they're gonna be cleansing the house, and normally there's like animals involved with that and stuff like that. So like, yeah.
Does
Is
anyone
that
else?
What type of animal?
Is that legal?
Like just no, it's legal. It's a legal thing, but it's a Cuban culture thing. So it's just like chickens.
Oh.
That's about it.
Does that happen here in the States or in Cuba?
No, it happens. It happens way more back in Cuba, but like it also happens in my
Crazy.
house.
See, like the thing with me, I'm not really like a spiritual believer. I feel like demons do exist, but not in the way you think. You know, I feel like they're just something that latches onto you once you have.
Explain
Yeah,
in
like-
ways that we don't think. What
like-
does that mean?
Like demons are just a thing that is in the back of your head. You know, instead of you know, being like a physical embodiment, it's just a thing that just latches onto the back of your head and it just stays there, and it's the thing that keeps you down.
So it's
You know?
so it's in all of us then. Is
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Uh,
Everyone has
mental,
their own
right?
Yeah.
demon. Yeah.
But I also
Are you
feel
talking
like
about emotional demons
like
then?
either or. I'm not, but I also feel like ghosts and like that's. I never had like an encounter with anything like. Yeah, like something drops on the floor, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's in Casper. No, it's not like, oh, it must, the fan's on, you know? So I don't really, oh, actually, oh, that's one thing. There was this one time I took a picture because I think I was like sending a streak and I saw something.
An
it was
orb?
like-
Was it an orb?
It wasn't an orb.
Okay.
It was more like a lady, the end of a lady's dress, like floating at the top. And then I was like freaked out. And I took another picture and it was gone. I recently, like just yesterday, deleted all my pictures.
Oh, well, no, you can't say that.
No, wait, it might be on my Snapchat, so I'll
Could have
see.
recently deleted.
No, that's
So convenient, Ernesto.
Yeah, that's
So
so
convenient.
convenient.
it was scary. I flipped out. I slept in the living room.
Well, see, I'm kind of like you. Like, you know, I'm kind of like you where I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't want to mess with it either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
yeah,
like if
yeah.
someone invites me to go like do a Ouija board, no.
Yeah, no,
No,
thanks.
thank you.
Someone invites me to
No.
like go light candles and sing a happy song, no.
Yeah, like let's,
I'd rather not.
let's go knock on the mirror at 12 a.m. midnight.
No.
Yeah.
That's-
Have you ever
that's
heard
just
of the
stupid.
games that they
Yeah.
do? The ones where like they're in the doorway and like they do all these fun games. Like, have you guys seen Shane Dawson's videos when they do their games? It's funny.
Or
Sorry.
Simon Colby's games, like the Midnight Man.
Yeah.
And it's like one of their previous items that they did a ritual on. It started turning on too, but they said that it hadn't turned on since then. I think I don't want to mess with that, but it's weird because my dad, he's on the opposite side. He's like with you, how you don't like get frightened with that stuff, because he visited my family back in El Salvador. And my cousin, he was out and he saw we call them duendes, but like in English it's like demon dogs, devil dogs. And my cousin, he runs back to the house. He's calling to my dad. He's like, tío, so like uncle. He's like, there's something outside. And so my dad goes and he sees this. He's like, oh, a duende. But he doesn't freak out. So it's like, sir, are you okay? Like,
Wait,
I
so
don't,
Like
what's
a
a
skinwalker?
Yeah, what's
a-
that?
what's a
Yeah,
demon
what's a
dog?
demon
It's like a
dog?
little,
Is it a skinwalker?
you know the things that people
Chihuahua
put out on
is
their
angry?
porch?
Mm-mm.
Like a gnome. It's like a little gnome or like a little gremlin goblin thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so like a statue.
But
thing.
well,
it's
it's,
a
it's,
creature.
it's alive.
It's alive?
He said that when he looked at it, it had red eyes and it wouldn't move. It would just stare at the both of them.
Is it a skinwalker?
How old
No,
were you?
not a
How old were you,
what's
by
a
the way? Was he trying to scare
skinwalker?
you?
No,
Skinwalker is
no,
something
it was
completely
recently.
different.
Oh,
He went to
okay.
visit during the summer and he's like, your cousin told me that. Well, he saw a demon dog and I thought, okay.
Who does believe in ghosts currently?
I believe
I
it.
do.
I do.
Oh, wow, so
I've-
more than half of us? Okay.
I've seen.
I
Oh
found
my
the
God.
picture.
I have
Oh
a
my
ghost.
God.
Y'all see the thing floating up there? And then the next picture,
Oh yeah, I see that.
It's not there.
there's like nothing
Let me
there.
see.
Wait,
Oh, that's actually really
wow.
weird.
No, thank you.
You see that on
You
top?
remind me not to sleep over your house ever
Oh,
again.
wow.
And then
That is creepy.
Do you see it at the top? Just don't. It's on my Snapchat.
So for everyone hearing,
that just your
Ernesto
sleeve?
found like a his
That looks
picture
like
of
that
the
looks like
ghost,
that.
and we're just all looking at it right now.
Yeah.
And it does
You
look
see,
like
you
what
see
he
how
said.
creepy
It
it
also
is?
It's like
looks
a
like something
blanket.
else,
Yeah,
too.
it
But
like
there's
kinda
nothing like on my walls. I barely have like posters on my walls too.
Yeah, I've seen his room. He does not have anything like that.
So going off from that, have y'all ever felt like a spiritual presence like right next to you? Like you actually feel like there's someone there, but there's not.
I saw one.
You saw one.
I don't feel any.
All the
I
time,
get
Yeah.
I
I
get
have
chills
before,
all of the
but
time.
It was like sleep paralysis, so I don't think that counts.
Oh, sleep
Oh,
paralysis.
no,
is
no.
real.
Sleep
paralysis
paralysis
counts.
It
Sleep
does
paralysis.
count.
It counts
It
as a
counts.
spirit.
Well,
like,
I know.
laying on my chest.
It's like
That's so scary.
Well, it is scary because I've seen some.
I've
They
never
say
had
that
sleep paralysis.
when you
I
get
have.
sleep
It's-
paralysis,
it's
it's when a
scary.
spirit lays on top of you.
You're lying.
And like you
Stop.
can't
That-
move.
That's
It's-
what
Stop.
sleep
I
paralysis is
don't.
That's-
meant
yeah,
to be supposed
that's
to
what
be.
it's supposed to be.
No, that's not what
That's-
it is.
that's what-
medically.
I thought it was
Like,
when
I
your
know it's
head
something
is
different,
awake,
but that's what they say.
but
it
your
is.
body
like
is.
you can't
yeah.
move, but you like you know what's going on.
I've had sleep paralysis and it's scary, and I've had a nightmare of having sleep paralysis. And the first thing I did when I woke up from that nightmare was move, because having sleep paralysis is the worst thing.
Yeah, I still
Your
seen
your
ever.
heartbeats get stronger. You know, you don't know what to do. You're looking around looking for help, but you can't move. You're just stuck.
Yeah.
So you're stuck.
How long does it last for? Because
It-
people talk
I don't
about
know.
it. I've never seen
I
it.
usually just fall asleep from exhaustion.
What?
Like, I'm just like so tired of like.
Yeah.
I'm
Eight
so-
hours have
don't
gone
think
by.
sleep
Like-
paralysis
lasts
that long?
As long
No,
as
I
you're
don't think
laying
mine
down.
lasted that long.
No.
I feel like it was just like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was
not
just
10
for a minute,
minutes.
but like I got so scared. I think I got so scared that I was just like, I'm just gonna.
How do
Tony,
you dip?
you had something to say. You had your hand raised.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
About
Okay,
sleep paralysis.
so mine's was like super bad. I was 8 years old, and mine's happened in the form of a dream. So it started off. I was in the dream. In the dream, we were moving houses, and I had went back inside the house, and the only light that was on was in the laundry room, and that's like far from my room. So I'm going inside my room, and I open the drawer, and I see like all this Halloween candy. And then like a demon appears next to me, and I actually see it, like it has gray hands and it's praying like this. And the demon's like, take one. And I'm like, wait, I don't go trick-or-treating. Like I was never raised to go trick-or-treating. And I'm like, I don't want one. And the demon gets mad and it pushes me without touching me onto my bed, and it chains me down. And so I'm getting ready to scream and cry, and I'm like trying to get out, and that's the moment where I have sleep paralysis. So the demon's coming over to me, and it's trying to like go into my soul. But before it does, I start calling on Jesus. I was like, Jesus, Jesus. Like I was calling on Jesus real quick. And then all I see is like the demon's gone. Like all the shapes, like the chains and the shapes were falling off me. Like there was light in my house again. All the doors were opening. Like everything was gone. All the darkness inside the house was gone, and there was just a whole bunch of light. And I woke up and I was crying, and my sister was like, what's going on? I couldn't do anything. I was just like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And I told everyone about it, and some people had different interpretations about what that meant, but I knew exactly what that meant, man, and I don't mess with demons.
There's paintings like portraying sleep paralysis, and it's always like a demon crawled over someone's chest, like, yeah.
I'm
Cynthia.
so glad
Yeah.
I've never had it.
This summer, I used to never get sleep paralysis, but this summer, more scary things have been happening at home, and like honestly, it's been
started?
getting so much worse. It started with me falling asleep on the couch, and my dog coming over to me and like trying to steal the pillow from me, and it was like me in sleep paralysis trying to struggle like to not get the pillow stolen from me, and then like something clicked, and I was like, wait, my dog is chained up to the door. She has like her section in the house, and then I realized like, this dog was not my dog. It was a black dog, but it wasn't my dog, and it just kept on pulling on me, and it kept on like trying to get me to like fall to the floor, and obviously I couldn't move because I was in sleep paralysis. This dream happened like 3 separate times,
That's
and then it
kind
started
of
happening in my own bed, and I sleep sometimes with my hands like over my head, and the most recent one was like the longest one. It's like, okay, I'll be sleeping, and in my dream I get sleep paralysis, and I try to wake up, and I think I'm awake, and I'm like, yay, and I finally move, but then I realize again that I'm still sleeping, and I'm again in sleep paralysis, and that's when I feel like something pulling my legs or something like getting on top of me, and like it's like a process of me waking up and realizing that I'm still asleep, and waking up and still asleep. And this can go on for like an hour. And I woke up crying, I ran to my sister, and I was like, sleep with me.
I used to have like these dream things that were not like really dreams, but it felt like I was unconscious but still conscious at the same time. Like I had the idea of what was going on in my head, but I couldn't see anything. Don't know if that makes sense, but it was like I don't know, it's weird. Like I felt suffocated and everything. Like I knew I was awake, but I knew I wasn't fully awake. But it wasn't sleep paralysis, but it kind of was. And I thought it was a dream, but it feels real. You know, and it's very confusing. Because I've had that like a couple of times. Like I feel like 3, and it's just like I wake up and I'm just like my heart's pounding. I'm just like, okay, that's weird. Like especially when I'm like beginning to fall asleep, it happens. Like my dream starts, but only the words, and I can't see them, but I can see them mentally. If that makes sense. You know how in a dream you see it in front of you? Yeah, I see it in the back of my mind, and I can't see anything but gray. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody, but it's weird. And I wake up from that, you know, trying to go back to sleep. I wake up from that, and you know, and then I go back to sleep like regularly. But sometimes that just happens. Like sometimes it happens on my bed or on the couch. It happened once, and I flipped out and almost fell off. But yeah, I don't know if that's anything with paranormal, but
there was
scary.
like one time my sister, she had recently moved out. This was a couple years back, and she went to my aunt's house. For context, I don't like going to my aunt's house, and like none of my family do, because we feel like there's something in there, and like I already had my own experience like there, and I don't like to talk about it. But when she moved in there, she said that like the first couple of nights it was fine, but then like one night she had gotten sleep paralysis, and she has never gotten it before, and she started freaking out real bad because she couldn't move. And when she told my mom was like, okay, get your Bible, open it, and you have to say the specific prayer. I don't know the prayer, sadly, but she did, and she had to do like a sage too. Like she had to like burn parts of a sage like every night, and because she did that, she stopped getting sleep paralysis anymore. But like since then, it's been like it's weird. Like my aunt's house is weird, because there was another time, because like all my aunts and uncles and my dad, we were doing this service for my grandma. Like we were saying, you know, like religious, honoring, holding our hands and like saying a prayer. But when we were doing that, and my uncle was like, okay, bow your heads and say a prayer for, you know, my grandma, I felt something, like some presence. It was like in my chest. It started feeling weird, sort of like a pounding or a pulsing, and it get hard to breathe. So I thought, what's going on? But when everyone was done, it went away. But in my aunt's house, I know there's something like weird in there, but it's just so weird. Like
What was the prayer that you guys were saying? Was it like for all the spirits or just for your grandma?
Just for my grandma. It was like rest easy, because it was like a year since she had passed away. But my uncle, who was leading it, because he's a pastor, he was like, pray for her soul to rest easy in heaven, and that God may bless her. It was nothing like that would give off bad signs. But immediately when we all bowed our heads, I just felt something in my chest, and it like was not normal, because I never felt that before. But it was just really weird, and I kept telling my parents, like, please don't take me to her house. Like, she's a nice aunt, but I can't stay in that house.
Because that's how my mom got possessed. Because
Oh yeah, last Sunday she got possessed, and she's back to normal on Monday.
because okay, so my grandpa passed away at the beginning of the year. So then for 9 days, they call it a novena. When someone passes away, you're supposed to pray for the person who passed away. And so one of the nights that they were doing it, luckily I wasn't there that night, which is like really lucky. But anyways, so one of the nights that they were doing it, they were saying a prayer, and it wasn't just for my grandpa, it was like for other spirits as well. And so because that they said that prayer, and it was so strong, I guess, and my uncle was there, the spiritualist was also there that night, so I guess he gave off spiritual vibes or something. So then because of that prayer, she ended up getting possessed, and then luckily my uncle was there, so he could like exorcise her, and she was fine.
Wait, were you there during her possession? And like, is she walking around like, oh
No,
hey guys,
I
I'm
wasn't
possessed
there.
now, I'm possessed?
I wasn't there. I wasn't
What's she
there.
like? Is she-
But she
was
said
someone
it was
filming?
like no. But she said it was like when someone gets possessed, you're really gonna take out your phone
So
and
what?
film it.
I would be like,
I
look, Aunt Cindy's possessed, so let me film this.
I
first.
don't know. I haven't
Might have
haven't
happened.
seen her get possessed, but I have seen another person like actually get possessed.
So what happens? Do they speak in tongues or?
No, the like eyes just roll back, and then they're like shaking, and it's like they're completely other person.
Has anyone ever
They're
experienced
having
a
a
family
seizure.
No, it wasn't a seizure. It wasn't a seizure. Like I like it wasn't, because like if it was a seizure, we'd have to take them to the hospital. You know what I mean? And then that's when they'd be fine.
It's not a
But no,
prank.
but it wasn't a seizure.
And then how does she get out of it? And when she gets out, is
My
it like,
uncle,
feel better?
my uncle had
He's
to
right to-
exercise her. I don't know, but my uncle had to exercise. That's what they told me.
Can you film it next time? I really want to see this.
Next time.
Okay, right, rotate 360, like.
No, it's not like that.
She vomit, like projectile vomit.
This is not.
Wait, I have a
Poltergeist.
story
Yeah.
that has
Cynthia.
like, I wasn't possessed, but like, it was maybe. It's a long story.
It's a friend.
So my sister and I were in bed, and we have the separated bunk beds. So her bed's on one side, and I'm on the other. And I had my earbuds in, like just listening to ASMR. Anyways, my sister was. She kept on calling to me. She's like, "Hey, do you hear that?" And I obviously didn't hear anything because I had my stuff blasted. And then I paused all my music, and music, and I was listening. And on the door, you could hear like a tap, but my door is like really, really heavy. So I was like, oh, it's probably like we didn't close it right. So it's like the friction between the door and the door frame. And then it happened 2 more times, and it's like a.
No.
And that's when I was like, okay, haha, that's nothing. And I was like, just pretend like it never happened and ignore it. Try going to sleep. But my sister's kind of not a scaredy cat, but she's experienced so many things where like they don't rest easy with her anymore. And as we were doing that, the TV turned on in the living room. And we were like, oh my gosh. So again, I'm trying to comfort her, and I told her to ignore it. But as we were trying to ignore it, the volume started to go up and up until it was blasted. And that's when we had to call our parents, and my dad walked with my
Wait,
sister.
how old were you?
This was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sister was like, oh, you were a kid.
No.
Pretending what's
That's why we're all adults in the house already. So my sister and my dad walked over to the living room to turn off the TV, and they couldn't find the control, and the control was just like resting easy inside like we have a little compartment inside our couch, and it was just there perfectly normal. So they had to turn off the TV, which was like, it was at 100% like the volume. And then we went back to sleep, and then my sister called my brother because we tell him everything, and he lives in Reno. So we were like, haha, I guess this just happened to us. And as we were talking to him over the phone, we heard like a scream, like a scream of torture. And then my sister like dropped the phone, and she's like, what the heck? And she asked my brother if he was okay. He's like, yeah, I was just talking to you normally. But like, she heard it loud in her ear, and like to the point where I even heard it, and I was laying next to her. And so she started freaking out. We called our parents again, and to the point where she was crying, and my mom started to pray with us, and she's like, maybe this is a sign, maybe something's trying to tell you something. And when she said that, like the mood in the room just dropped, and I instantly got goosebumps, and like there was tears welling up in my eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, why would you say that? And she's like, yeah, maybe something is trying to tell you something. And the moment she said that, I just fell back on the bed and started crying, and like to the point where I was like coughing and crying. Like it kind of, obviously they got scared, I got scared, I thought I was getting possessed. So my mom started throwing holy water on me, which made me cry and scream even more. So like that scared me even more. And then they started to pray, and we all laid, literally like 4 of us were sleeping in one big bed, and they were praying the whole night.
Amen.
And I was just like shaking and crying until I fell asleep.
How do you know you're not possessed anymore?
It happened 2 years
I'm a
ago. I've gone to
That sounds
confession.
like a demon.
You've gone to
to me.
confession?
That demon tried to get inside your house.
But yeah, it
That's what
was,
sound like.
that was the weirdest night ever, and I
Y'all
remember going
better
to school the
call
next day,
Jesus.
just
Yeah, like
pretending like nothing happened.
I have this tia, this aunt, who's like, she's Christian. She's a super religious, like Christian, and so she likes to not like do demonic things like witchcraft, but she likes to know about it just in case, you know.
Oh.
And she always says when like stuff taps, it's most definitely gonna be like a demon or like something of that power. It's gonna be like 3 knocks, you know, like, cause you know the Holy Trinity, you have like God,
Yeah.
Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's why the demons are gonna try to reflect that into like 3 knocks. Like if you see The Conjuring, which is based on true events,
Yes.
the knock,
Yes.
the knock,
is
yeah, it
true.
is.
I know,
it's
but
basically
what is
the
that?
knock. Every
Sounds
time you hear a
horrible.
knock, or the clock, where does it land? Everyone's like, oh, 3. Or
Like a
like
3
Yeah.
a.m.
30.
They say the
Yeah.
witching hour.
Yeah, 3:33 or something. The witching hour, or the clap.
Oh.
You
I
know.
wish I had cool stories.
lights
like this,
turned
but
off.
I have
Yeah.
zero.
There's so
But
many. Oh my gosh.
she knows like if it that's why she likes The Conjuring, because it's an accurate depiction
Mm.
of the demonic side of the
Okay,
the
speaking
world.
of horror movies. Oh, sorry, Nikki. Real quick. Of all the horror movies, which ones do you guys think are the best? Because for me, I don't like horror movies because none of them ever scare me. Yeah, because like I can't suspend my disbelief for that long to get into it.
Yeah.
But there's a few that I really like. Like the most recent one was it came out 2 summers ago.
Wow, descriptive.
It was the decapitation of that kid.
Oh, Hereditary.
Yes,
that
that was
movie
good.
is such like
Never got to
I
watch
can't
it.
say the
Never
word,
got
Yeah.
but it really like messes you up. I hate that movie. I mean, I don't. It's a good movie, but it's
I left feeling
It's-
so creeped out.
yeah, it's so
Unsettled.
it's so unsettling.
Yes.
You know
I
what
wanna
isn't
watch
a
it.
You guys
good
watch it?
movie? Midsummer. Midsummer was not a good movie.
Midsummer. I heard it was.
It's
I think it was
the
alright.
weird
Different.
cult movie, and
Isn't it
There
by the
was-
same director?
I'm not sure, but there was as soon as the weird scenes hit, I was out.
I don't know.
I wanted to
Hereditary,
watch
you really have to pay attention when you watch it,
Yeah.
and to like really like understand where it's going, and it's so like messed up throughout the whole movie.
Oh,
It's-
so many plot twists.
Yeah.
It really threw me for a loop. And this is coming from a guy that doesn't like horror stuff. Like I don't get into it. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't raise my blood levels. I don't like. To me, it's kind of boring and lame. Sorry. But this one, like, I was like, man, this is good. And then the other one that I liked was The Exorcism of Emily Rose. You guys ever seen that before?
Like the classic one, right?
No, this came out back in like the 2000s.
Oh, that one for me, that one didn't really hit
Yeah.
because we based it off like our expectations were based on the original. Because that one does stuff to you. I
The
don't know.
Exorcist?
Yeah,
The
like
Exorcist
like the
is a bad
73.
movie.
It's a bad movie, yeah.
Like
Like,
I don't know.
So
It's hard to
I
watch
was like
these days.
always terrified as a child to watch it because my grandma was so scared of it, and she doesn't get scared with movies, but The Exorcist really like she's terrified of it still, but it's just really blasphemous, and that's why it had such the large response,
Right.
and that's why people really like think it's like the best horror movie ever, but it's really not that great.
But like, weren't there like
For the
weird things
time
that
it
happened
was.
too to the actors? Like the girl that played it, she like died in some weird
That happens
way.
in every horror
The
movie.
director like put the actors in really bad conditions, so
Oh.
like
Oh, yeah.
for like
Yeah.
every like cold scene, like the set was freezing so that everything was like real, and it wasn't necessarily like humane
Who
working
was
conditions.
the director in that film? It wasn't it someone famous?
Was it Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, someone like Steven Spielberg.
The Exorcist?
Spielberg, right?
Spielberg, whatever.
I have no idea.
I heard that for the original Poltergeist movie, like back in what
80s.
like, in the 80s, that the original studio they believe was haunted because I think the girl like the actress who portrayed the original little girl, she had died some months like after filming was done. But since then, they said that actors would get hurt, like broken bones.
Yeah,
hurt.
dying weird deaths, right?
Yeah, and,
All
like,
that.
Every horror movie does that kind of as a hype thing.
No, they said
Yeah.
that the
No,
studio
they're
had
coming out
like
with,
burned
like,
down.
I died
E-news
to
thing
promote the
about-
movies.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's just like I don't know.
Just to get that box office
yeah,
money,
you know,
you know?
ticket sales. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know
Tickets.
because like with that one they said that I don't know if it was like the studio had burned down or something like that. I think
Yeah, I
that
think I
is
heard that.
not a marketing tactic
Right.
right there. So I think
Or
No.
things.
That's insurance.
But that even happened with the actor who played the Son of God. Like he had gone through so many things and so many scary stuff started happening to him that he actually went from not believing to becoming a Christian.
Amen. I believe that.
Oh, same with what's that? The Jesus Christ movie.
The Passion of Christ.
Yeah, Passion of Christ. Didn't something happen to that guy too?
Oh.
He got shocked or like?
Everything that you see in the movie happens to him in real life.
what?
Oh,
So
they
he
did
sacrificed
it?
his body to actually get stabbed to.
No way.
Yes. I tell it to my
Isn't it-
students every single time I show them.
That's
Mel
extreme.
Gibson movie.
Some
Was it a
extreme.
snuff film? I wouldn't call it a snuff film. It was all in the box office. It's like, yeah.
I don't think
It's, I don't know. It's really intense.
That's some acting.
Extremely intense.
But the first movie that scared me, or that kind of set the tone for what scares me, is like Chucky. I think Chucky for a lot of
Child's
people.
Play.
I scared everyone.
After I watched that movie when I was like 5 years old, I never watched another horror movie in my life.
That
wanted
one
to-
probably
To
caused
this
trauma
day.
to so many people in America, like all across the world.
I wanted an American
I'm-
Girl doll so bad when I was younger, and then when I finally got one, I kept remembering Chucky.
So you
And
just
I was
couldn't
just
play
like,
with her.
I just like covered the box with
No.
a blanket, and then eventually we moved it away.
Chucky really messed me up because I never liked dolls because of Chucky. Not because of Chucky, but also because my sister had this quinceañera doll, And if you
What's that?
know
What's
those, it's a quinceañera doll. So every time
Like when a girl
they
turns
turn
15.
they get a quinceañera doll. It's supposed to look
Is
like
it like a
them.
porcelain
It's
doll?
nice.
It's
last
kind of
year,
real.
last
Yeah.
year.
Dolls are
Yeah, they're
creepy.
last-
Why
But
do
yeah,
old
the
ladies
record.
collect that?
Dolls
My mom
dolls
collects
are
them.
are creepy, and we still had it when we lived in our townhouses, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was always scared of that doll. I was so scared of that doll that I would bring like a mini bat to the shower with me because my mom had it in the closet. This one time, yeah, I was so ready, bro. This one time, I was just, getting out the shower all fresh, so fresh and so clean. And I open up the door, and the doll's just right there,
Oh, hey.
staring up at me.
That's a prank.
So the first,
That's
no,
yeah.
no,
Your
my first thought was to just
I'm gonna
slam the
break it.
door and like scream. So
Climb out somewhere else.
So
I would have beat it.
can you imagine like a little 7-year-old naked little boy? And then I started to hear laughing from the other side. I was like, oh no! I opened up the door and it was my sister playing a prank.
Okay.
So
Makes
it was
sense, okay.
but that
She got you.
okay, think about it. If you're scared of that doll and you open up a door to see that doll and you're in your most vulnerable state, just wearing nothing but a towel, you're gonna have some problems growing up. And I never slept with like toys,
Right.
like in my bed. No, they always like got thrown in the closet or.
That's the reason I slept with toys, because I was like, please don't betray me in the future. I have shown you affection.
Or have you seen that one movie something graveyard, doll graveyard or
Oh, is it like
where
the pets? Oh no, not the
Pet
pet
Cemetery.
But like
I was
doll,
gonna say,
it's like doll graveyard and like there's like a
The
teen
doll
party.
cemetery?
The doll something.
I don't know.
And like there's a little girl that's at this teenage party because her older sister decided to throw a party or whatever, and like they're disrespecting the dolls. And or
You don't disrespect the dolls, man.
or no. The father accidentally like killed the it was crazy. He killed his daughter.
Oh.
And buried the doll with her. But then
Oh,
the
and it
daughter's
cursed it?
soul, and then in the future this little girl finds a doll, but
Right.
the teenagers who are mean, like, and then mess with the doll, but then a bunch of dolls come to life and like this.
But
whole
don't you feel like if you're a full grown adult, you could just stomp
yeah,
on the
you
doll?
can, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I
Like
kind
that
of
doll.
Like Chucky's not scary
Chucky, like,
because
kick
what
him.
are you gonna
Because
do?
you can outmuscle him.
Yeah, you
Right?
just gotta
That's how I
hold
feel.
it down, punch
Hold
him.
the
you're
arms
good.
down. Step on his legs.
Or-
I
Does
feel
Chucky
like, yeah.
win in the end?
I forget, but there were so many sequels to Chucky that it made it
don't
not
think-
scary anymore.
They
that
made
it was so
Cult of
absurd.
Chucky. I thought it's time to hit that series to the shelf. I'm not gonna do
And have
this.
y'all seen the new Child's Play that came out?
That one was
it's-
kind of
It's
lame.
so lame.
What did you think of the
So lame.
redesign? I thought, ooh.
No,
He
it's
looked like he had
horrible.
Botox.
Honestly, like they took the whole spoilers for
People are never gonna watch it.
yeah, people
Yeah,
are never
no
gonna
wonder.
watch it. But like instead of it being like a possession, like transferring their soul into the
was just
doll,
bad
it was
data.
just like just some
Bad coding.
yeah, bad coding.
Oh, that's so there's
Yeah.
no spiritual.
Yeah,
like,
No,
no
it's just
paranormal
like a
side?
dude who's
Oh.
like really tired of his job and like all these this
that's
company
not
screwing
cool,
me
yeah.
over, and then he just put a bad chip in there, and the
Yeah,
evil
yeah.
doll that has his
Lame,
mind of its own.
boo.
No, that's not how robotics
I am
work.
learning
That's
as I
nothing-
see things,
I'm
and I
in
see
AP
they suck.
computers, and I can tell you right now, there's gonna be some problems with Miss Dominguez.
I remember there was a story of it was with this little Elmo doll for like infants and toddlers. But yeah, I know. But the family at the time, they couldn't afford the batteries for it because it's supposed to say like little cute songs or whatever. But one day their infant son, he was playing with it, and they hear like the son's name was James. It was like kill James, and it kept repeating, but they didn't have batteries. And the mom, she's like, I did not hear that. And she goes, and it keeps repeating over and over. And apparently, like, it went viral for a while because apparently other families had gotten that message, but with their children's names too. And they just, like, they would just throw their dolls away. But I thought,
You gotta burn it.
yeah.
What if it was mass schizophrenia?
No, what
Mass
schizophrenia. Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria.
No, schizophrenia. Leave me
But you said it
alone.
had no battery.
It did not.
Yeah, that's
it
a no-go.
didn't.
That's a
Everyone
no-
Children's
That's a
toys are
dumpster
also
baby.
creepy.
Yeah.
Just in
I had-
general.
Yeah, in general.
Oh, I had a Barbie that would sing,
Oh no.
and we would leave her in the closet because my siblings were afraid of dolls.
I
And like
felt
to sing, you had to press the button, like actually push the button in. And so she was deep in the closet, and in the middle of the night, you would just hear her singing.
that. Mm-mm.
So you
And like, It was like the I'm just like you. I knew it.
Oh my god, I hate that.
What's some things that shouldn't be scary but are scary?
One time,
Being
twins.
home alone.
Puppies.
Ooh,
Twins,
yeah.
Twins.
Twins?
Young twins dressed in the
with
same
that red
That's
clothes.
just because you guys watched The Shining.
The Shining,
Yeah,
yeah.
if it
Red
was
rum
The
is
Shining,
red.
twins would have just been twins.
Yeah,
You know how many
yeah.
twins are at this school?
Or twins that say the
scary.
same thing at the same time.
That's cool
But no,
though.
That's low-key kind of cool. I have friends that
But not they're wearing a little doll dress
No.
and they're 7 years old.
I feel like
In the hallway.
No, I feel like anyone in a doll
I feel
dress is
like-
terrifying.
I feel like anything that's like humanoid, like that's
And
like,
you think humanoid is scary?
no, but like that's like a toy. So like puppets,
Oh,
dolls.
right.
I think sheets
What
are
is-
pretty scary.
Sheets.
Yeah,
like bed sheets.
Yeah, sheets. Those can be pretty scary. Like I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes you just see a bundle of it. Just
Oh,
sitting.
in the shadows. Yeah. That's like anything
Or
in your
trees.
room.
Hallways.
Yeah.
Trees.
Hallways are extremely creepy. A flickering.
Yeah.
Oh, hotels. Oh,
Going
hotels.
by a
are
mirror
creepy.
at nighttime can be a little scary.
This
I
one time,
don't
I
like
saw ghost
Windows
reflect,
at night.
yeah, windows at night. Thank you. Because this one time I was walking into like our storage room that has windows, and I was just walking out, and I saw my reflection, but I didn't know it was my reflection. And it opens up to the backyard, so I ducked. No, it was out in the backyard, so I was like, there's so many. And then I was like, that guy kind of looks familiar. And
That's the devil.
That's a devil, exactly.
I moved my blinds and then I saw a face staring right back at me and I realized it was me after letting out a scream.
Oh my god.
That wasn't fun.
Nothing startled me more than that. I was just like, oh no, home invasion.
Am I the weirdo in the room who said like stairs are creepy? I
No,
can't.
no,
I
go-
can't
go
do
upstairs.
stairs.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
At night.
Noises
Like,
are
At
creepy.
night,
I
after a horror
can't.
movie too, after like a scary
You're
movie,
like-
Yeah, just
like,
darkness
you
in
bolt
general.
Oh my
It's like, do I want my legs broken today or tomorrow?
You have to
Yeah,
turn on the
yeah.
bottom lights and run.
You go 2 steps at a time, like 3 steps at a time.
Noises are so terrifying. One time I was home alone sitting on the couch and I swear I heard someone sneeze from the stairway and I was like,
Here we go.
I was like, no, that's not it. And I walked over and I pulled out a sword because I'm like, I'm not dealing with a home invader today. Like, I pulled out a sword. I don't even know how to use a sword, but I pulled out a sword.
I feel like in the heat of a moment, I feel like you could learn how to use a sword. Yeah, you ain't gotta see.
One time I was home alone after school, and so my parents were out grabbing all of my siblings from school. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna nap on the couch because I like naps. And so I was like lightly sleeping. My dogs were on the other side of the couch on like the top of the couch because they think they're cats. And
Nice.
I hear sneakers walk into my kitchen. And because my dogs bark at literally everything. And so I opened my eyes because they weren't like going crazy. And they were looking into the kitchen too. And I heard my cupboards open and close. And I'm like, I called my mom. I didn't move. I was like, Mom, are you home? And she's like, no. Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, but there's something in the house because Chewy and Lucy aren't freaking out. And I know that it's not a person because they don't like people. And that was freaky.
Do you think dogs can sense?
Most definitely. I feel like animals can
yeah.
sense.
Can they
Yeah.
sense
Yeah,
it?
yeah, like
Can
or
they
sense
sense
bad
I
people
just got
too.
a dog.
I feel
Yeah,
like
they can sense bad people.
Yeah,
I
they
read
can
an article
sense
about it.
bad people. They can sense when
Your
someone's
aura.
feeling aura. They can sense when someone's like feeling bad, when someone's sick, and I
Dogs
feel
are
like
so
they could also
wholesome.
look into
Can
the
they see
spiritual world.
spirits?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
110%.
believe
But
my
they
dogs.
can't
yeah.
go to heaven and stuff, but can they see spirits?
All dogs go to heaven.
All dogs go to heaven.
What the?
All of us are angry now.
Yeah.
All
No.
right, I'm done with this podcast.
But like, what if you're the bad person, but you own a dog? Because dogs love the owner so much. What if you're the bad person?
They growl at you then?
They get mad at it.
like ideally
Sometimes my
wouldn't they?
dog
Well,
ignores
our
me.
dog
Like, he's just
actually
he's just a butt.
He's just a butt.
He's just a
Anyways,
butt.
that's a dumb
Yeah,
question.
That's
Sorry.
interesting though.
I think dogs do see things because my dogs were looking in the kitchen, so I know I wasn't just hearing things because they heard it too. So I know I'm not crazy.
What if they were just looking where you were looking?
No, because I opened my eyes and they
They
were
were-
looking
Oh,
there
okay.
before I was like, is someone here?
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Did you go like check and see what happened?
No, I did not. I didn't move my.
What?
You're like,
Grab-
oh, back to
grab
my
a
nap.
flower
No,
pot.
yeah, I go back
Lazy.
to bed.
Yeah.
I go back to bed. That's what you do because if you
So
give
if a
That's what I
invader-
do.
if
all the
you
time.
give it attention, then
It's gonna-
it progresses more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Your
True.
mind starts tripping out.
Yeah,
makes
so
it
like
bigger.
I
Yeah.
believe with you and your sister calling your brother and telling your brother about what happened, it gave whatever more attention, and that's why things went crazy.
Yeah, ever since that night, I decided to not pay attention to that stuff, or like to say screw it to it. And like this one night, I was watching TV and it was like 2 a.m, and I was just my dad and me. So like my sister was sleeping over, my brother's in Reno, my mom, I don't know where she was at, but I decided to turn off the TV and go to bed. So I turned off the TV and I sat down on the floor because my phone was charging. And as I sat down and looked at my phone, the TV turned back on. And I realized, like, I didn't turn around and I was like, okay, I'm just going to pretend like it didn't happen. And again, it's like the whole volume going like up and down, 1 or 2. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch one more episode and then I'm going to go to sleep. And I said it out loud. I said, one more episode and then I'm going to sleep. So I watched the episode, turned off the TV, and I said, okay, good night, and I went to sleep.
Yeah,
You
no.
said goodnight to the ghost.
Yeah, well, like,
I
wouldn't
feel
leave me alone
Yeah, I
unless
feel
I
like
said
if you try to like go against the ghost or like call it out or do anything, like
Kiss
like
the
it's
ghost, call it
gonna
goodnight.
it's gonna come back, because I've seen like videos where like there's like actual like haunted like museums or like haunted houses that like have actual like spirits of ghosts and dolls and stuff, and like if you like look at it weird or if you like say like stuff to it, like bad stuff to it, call it out for like, oh, this ain't real, it's gonna like I've seen people like just like pass out on video because like they look at the doll, say something messed up, and they're walking around and just hit the floor.
Oh, like being
Because I feel like if you're calling out a ghost and you're
You have to be
You're-
ready
you're-
for the
yeah.
consequences.
yeah, they're obviously gonna get mad. They can.
But I think like there, there's always like a balance, like good and evil to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it's someone who's like super spiritual and stuff, like that ghost is gonna get scared and it's gonna leave on its own. Like I've seen
ghost will
like
get scared of
pastors,
you?
yeah, I've seen like pastors and
Oh,
people
yeah.
like
Imagine.
call demons out of people and like it's just gone. Like they start having attacks and stuff, and the demons just running. And like there's so many testimonies about it. And it's
Imagine just
crazy.
like, get out.
yeah,
I
just
mean-
like with the Holy Spirit.
Now, you would think like looking at Annabelle funny would do stuff, but then like at the same time you watch the one BuzzFeed Unsolved episode where Shane is calling out
Yeah.
Annabelle so hard and nothing happens to him, and it's really disappointing.
Yeah, good point. So like after high school, my best friend from high school and I, he was bored because he dropped out of college. So he was like, hey, let's go graveyard hunting. I was like, okay, it's not my thing, but I'll go.
Is he still your friend to this day?
No.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say,
but I still
keep
know
your priorities.
Yeah. So anyways, like we would go to these cemeteries out in Virginia, where it's like a lot of Native American deaths have happened and wars have happened, right? And so we would go and like for several nights, nothing would ever happen. And then one time he was like, you know what? I'm gonna make something happen. So he started to urinate on the. Yeah, I was like, no, you don't do that, man. Like now this is
Disrespectful.
But nothing ever happened to him. So
That's what you think. You don't talk to him anymore.
he's got a kid. Well, I know what's going on in his life through social media.
Oh.
So no possessions or anything like that. I don't think.
What
Yeah.
did you know?
You know what? It's
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
afterlife,
yeah.
someone's
The
gonna pee
lights
on
go
his
out?
grave. That's just what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna pee on his grave. Yeah.
But if you are a ghost, though, you wouldn't be hanging out in your graveyard,
No.
right? Yeah, you'd be like haunting your
Like-
loved
Some
ones.
people believe like,
If
you
I
must
was a
relate
ghost-
where your ghost is to, or where your body is too. That's what some people believe.
I don't know. I feel like if you're a ghost, I'm not sure if you can go everywhere. I feel like you'd be able to stay
go to
where you
Paris.
died,
Mm.
or maybe
I think you stay where you have a connection.
yeah, that
In Chinese culture, like during certain holidays, we'll burn hell money. Like you can buy like this fake money and you burn it, and like it goes to your ancestors, and so they use it. Yeah, and so like my parents burned up this money, and like I was like, why are you guys burning all this money for? All these gold things, you know? They're like, oh, it's for grandma to get a trip to get a plane ticket. I'm like, what? Like, what's the whole banking system, the airport you go to? That's nice. It's pretty cool.
The
Interesting.
whole city.
Yeah.
No, but you mentioned like the spirits confining stuff, and with dolls and museums, I just remembered besides the Annabelle doll, there is one more called Robert the doll, and he's supposed to be shaped like a little sailor, and he's pretty old.
That sounds so wholesome.
But when no, he's not. But it's
That'd be
freaky
cool.
because he's in a museum too. He has his little glass case, and there's
Which
one.
museum is this?
Oh,
It's
I don't
in, like,
remember.
the islands, like
I'm Googling.
Caribbean
And
islands.
why is he famous?
Oh,
Like,
because,
Robert the doll.
There's part of his glass where it's like, do not knock on the glass, kind of like with fish. And there's this one guy, knucklehead. He just goes, And they say that if you make the spirit of in Robert the Doll mad, because he has like this face of like a smiling sailor.
Yeah.
But when that dude knocked, they said that his face immediately changed to a frown. And I forgot if it was like that thing happened to that guy. But they also say that the workers who stay in these haunted museums, like with the Annabelle doll and Robert the doll, they always hear like giggling that they associate with the doll, or it's like they feel sick, or they feel like it's really cold wherever they're at. And I remember that the people who were bringing the Annabelle doll to her museum, they said that a lot of them, they had died, like their cars, the brakes either had stopped working, or they would just get rammed by another car.
And that's a real doll, right?
Yeah, but it's designed differently.
It's a Raggedy Ann doll.
She's a Raggedy Ann.
Like for media purposes, it's this creepy human doll, but in real life,
looks freaky,
in real life, it's just a regular.
Yeah, she's a
doll,
Raggedy Ann doll.
which makes it creepier. But it's like it's just a common item.
No, that's not it.
I feel like puppets are creepy.
Yes.
Marionettes, puppets.
Ventriloquism.
That's pretty
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Ventriloquist.
Yeah, ventriloquists.
Ventriloquist.
I heard that those are actual like demonic
like
people.
curses?
Yeah, because like the puppets
Guy
that
doing
talk.
a voice.
Yeah, I'm doing a voice holding this doll, and you think
but
I'm
your mouth's
possessing
not
someone.
moving. Like I
a
don't
trick.
know. That's what's
I
so
can
Yeah,
do it.
I see their
Yeah.
items out, but I feel like some ventriloquists, like in the past, might have used like, like
witchcraft.
So,
Yeah.
to
I
just
would
make
totally
them
be down to
dolls.
watch a witchcraft doll show. That sounds amazing.
Like a witchcraft comedian doll show. Like,
No.
like here comes
There's a
Stephen Gill with his possessed doll Terry. Like, poor Terry.
I don't know what. When you mentioned
Terry
that,
topped it off.
is it bad that I thought of freaking Goosebumps? Like with
Yeah.
Slappy the doll. It's just like
I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
that. I loved Goosebumps.
I loved his
the
books.
best.
I loved his books, but
R.L. Stein, that guy.
Just
What's he up to these days? What's he doing?
I think he's
dead.
Still
retired.
making
No,
some
imagine.
money?
Dead.
God.
I don't know
That
what
would've
he's
been
doing.
died of horrific death.
Isn't he still writing?
Killed by his doll.
I don't know.
It's like
But-
the same with Stephen King. Where does he get his ideas? Because like
Where do horror writers get there? Like some of them have really twisted
Some of
ideas.
them are really
Yeah.
disturbed.
like
Their
some say they get it
minds.
from like their own familial experiences, and some say like it comes in a dream, like
Yeah.
for some reason
that
or
actually
another.
makes-
Creativity
Everything.
comes from everywhere.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, I want to watch that.
I wanna watch it.
I've watched
I watched
love
the
that
first
so much.
episode and it completely
I
freaked
haven't
me
watched
out.
it yet.
Like
I'll
with
tell you
the
this.
when the first episode.
The bent neck
when-
lady.
Yeah, that was creepy. Oh my god, that was creepy too. Or, like, or when he's on the couch and he wakes up and then it just starts panning out and you just see like the demon.
Yeah, that's when she gets sleep
exploding.
paralysis.
Yeah,
because
that's
the
when
bent
she
neck
gets
lady's
sleep
over her.
paralysis, and then the guys, the brothers at her house looking for her, and he sees her, but then he gets a call saying that. Yeah, spoiler. You want to
Wait,
hear?
no.
it?
Wait.
Yeah,
No?
no.
Okay.
Don't be salty.
Watch
Like
it.
he never believed in anything, and
Yeah.
then something
No,
happened
you said
to
a
him.
lady.
The
Yeah,
bent neck
The
lady.
bent neck
The
lady.
little girl, she
We gotta watch
she
the show.
sees the bent neck lady.
Well, is that
Do
is
you
What's
that?
to
think that was
explain?
the demon in my dream? The
It
lady?
could
'Cause
No,
I
this
know
is
it's
like
a lady.
specifically for the show.
The show. Well, it could be
It
like
could be.
they took
Maybe.
out different traits from different
Oh,
demons.
true.
It could be possible, but
But yeah, no, it was.
That'd be creepy.
Now I feel
Watching
like
that
quoting a
show-
Reddit thread.
My siblings and I would wake up every night at 3.
Yeah, it's scary.
Whoa!
No, yeah, like in the show, they all wake up at a certain time,
Oh, I thought you meant
and
real life
then
yourself.
no, but the same thing would happen to my sister. I would notice that she would wake up, and she would tell us, she'd be like, "I woke up at 3 o'clock last night again," and then it started happening to me too because I started watching it with her. And it's like 3 on the dot.
Time where I would wake up at like the same time every night in the middle of the night, around like 3-ish.
Yeah, I thought it was like God told me to pray or something.
is it bad that because of these superstition stuff that there's certain movies I can't watch? Like
Like what?
this is so bad. Like they released La Llorona this summer, I think it
Oh,
was,
yeah.
and because of like the story behind
behind.
her, like in all these different cultures, I can't
Yeah,
watch it. Like
my-
for
I
the
heard
life
that
of
was
me,
a
I
bad
can't go
movie.
near it.
My religious
didn't like
tia,
it.
she told me, she was like, oh, since that's based on a true story, like that film is cursed. Do not watch it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, okay, I'll just put that aside.
So that's how my mom feels about some movies. Oh yeah, my mom's been possessed. I did tell this beforehand, but she's like, she doesn't like talking about supernatural stuff anymore. Like my dad loves messing around with it, even though he knows it's dangerous, because my dad is my dad. But leave my cough alone. But my my mom, she doesn't want to deal with that. She's like, I don't know when things are happening. My third eye has been closed after being possessed, and I can't do with any of that. And she doesn't want to get involved ever again. So there's that whole third eye thing going on. They think I have a third eye. That's fun.
What is the third eye?
We all have a third eye.
It's like it's supposed to be like here, right?
It's like your like connection to
Oh,
like
the spirits,
Like so you
yeah.
can see all of them.
to like
spooky
spiritual
stuff.
I have some
things.
cousins that are more connected to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
How do we
wait.
all feel about Ouija boards?
No.
I want
Stay away
No
from.
thanks.
my family wants me to never touch them, but I desperately want to play because I'm that child.
Let's try one.
My
named
mom.
itself.
It's made by Hasbro.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Toys R
no-
Us, the walk-in bottom row. It's all Ouija
Yeah, it's
boards.
there, man.
The board named itself.
Ouija?
Come on.
Did it
Yeah,
really?
apparently.
My
Yeah, it
mom
named
got me
itself.
one for my 15th birthday.
Yeah.
What
Like
kind
a
of
mom.
mom?
It's from Turkey, so it's not one from like Toys R Us, and it's
Oh,
really
even
cool.
worse.
I think
Oh,
the
yeah,
foreign
yeah,
one
yeah.
is more powerful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
No
think that
offense.
too.
I think so.
It's really neat. It's a circle, and it has a Baphomet in the middle, and then everything's like written with like
Don't see the words.
old English. What
Talking to someone, you
words?
just say
What
the
words?
Latin-
Oh,
the Latin words.
the Latin chant, if you will.
Don't say it.
What is the chant?
I have no
No,
idea.
Yeah.
well,
No,
we
she's
ain't
just
saying
kidding.
there's.
There's no chance that-
I don't
that
think
we're not
there's
gonna
any
say it.
Latin chants I know.
I just spin it. Isn't that
You
what
just,
you do?
you just
no.
like,
Have you used it before?
yeah. So
Anything cool happen?
me and my sister, we used it in our backyard because my mom didn't want us using it in our house.
In the house, yeah. To invite
And-
the spirits.
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Back-
So,
yeah.
like,
So you go to the backyard.
Yeah, so we went to
He's
the
like,
backyard.
"Sorry,
But they won't go to the door. They're like, oh, that's where we got. You
They have
can't, you
boundaries,
can't come in.
okay?
Yeah, we have boundaries.
I can't go. I'll
Yeah,
come in.
so we talked to a 5-year-old little girl
Yikes.
named
So you think?
named Lurg.
That's a
Catfish.
The
Right,
Lurg.
right, the
The
Lurg.
Lurg.
Lurg, L-E-R-G.
That's
Lurg.
It was Fergie's little sister. The Ouija Servalition. Ouija is Egyptian for good luck, which I think is kind of ironic.
Interesting. So my godmother tells a story about a Ouija board. Like, she lived in Washington, D.C., again in Virginia, and she had this house that my uncle at the time was staying with her, and he kept getting like sleep paralysis where he was feeling like he was getting crushed by something, right? And so it got to the point where, like, I think he heard or felt someone throwing rocks at him too. And so they're like, let's get a Ouija board and let's find out. Right? Yeah, of course. That's the
Not a priest,
Not
but the
safe.
thing that invites
Yeah.
the spirit.
Not a priest.
things not to do in a horror movie, right? Let's get a Ouija board. And so they communicated with the spirit apparently, and it turns out that the spirit wasn't buried properly, and all he wanted was a peaceful burial. And so once they did that for him, he left him alone.
That's good.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
See, I feel like if I was a ghost, I wouldn't be like those like mean ghosts. I'm messing with you.
I mean,
Like,
I'll
come
help you
on.
do your chores.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be like, you want some cereal, man?
Like Casper?
If I was a
Help them
ghost,
out.
I would
Casper?
move things around.
Don't they say like some child ghosts are like playful, and that's why they'll
People
hug
say
you or
child
they'll
ghosts
pull
are
your
actually
hair,
demons
they'll
in
kick
disguise.
you around.
Hug.
Well, yeah, I've heard that people say that children ghosts are just demons. And so, like, a lot of creepy things happened after me and my sister
Talk to Lurg.
played with the Ouija board. Yeah, and so my Ouija board has to stay in the garage now.
Oh,
That's not part of the house.
Well, okay, so we sage the house every once in a while, and for some reason my mom always like doesn't sage the garage. So like there is something in the garage. Like if you're in the garage and it's closed, you feel something in that like in there, and it's really creepy. But so because I live at 2 different houses. So one time we had the Ouija board in our house, and so in the room that the Ouija board was in, my family was coming home from somewhere, and they saw a red flashing light. And so like my sister and my mom went into the house first, and like the Ouija board was out of wherever it was, and like the little dial thing was on our bookshelf, and that's not where it was. So they grabbed it to bring it into the garage because they weren't going to have it in the house. And so when they were walking down the hallway to do it, they both felt like a stabbing pain in like their kidney. And so my sister ended up having like scratches on her back where like she felt it. And then I had gotten home a couple days later, and I was up in the middle of the night watching YouTube, and I was in the room that the Ouija board used to be in. And so I had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and because I had the room, the lights were on because I was a little paranoid. But then everywhere else was dark. So I left my bathroom and I looked down my hallway where our garage is, and I saw a little girl at the end of the hallway. And I know it wasn't because I was like tired, because I was wide awake. It was only like 11, and that was back when I was like staying up all the time. And it creeped me out, but I didn't interact with it because I was like, I'm not trying to have anything creepy happen. So I just stayed in the family room for like an extra hour and then went to bed.
What do you do? Just watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That
I'll
was
just
the
leave it
most
alone.
opportune time ever to talk to a ghost, and you went, well.
No, I feel like it's good that you interact with kids. You be like, Lurg, is that you? Like,
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, like
I didn't,
that's
also, I didn't want to
inviting
wake
it.
up my
That's
mom. She's a
that's
really
invitation.
light sleeper, and she
correct
would have
you.
gotten mad.
Yeah, Ouija, just using the Ouija board is like invitation. Like that's just like, oh, please come do
Opening
something.
Pandora's
Like
box,
just
right?
just mess with me.
I don't
Screw
feel like
my
Lurg is her name.
Hey,
Maybe
that's what
she's just
she
a little
told
child that
us.
can't spell. She don't,
Maybe.
Her name's like
Do you
Lily
know
or
what I
something.
want to see in a horror movie one time?
What?
You know, like that story that you just told, and you saw a little girl at the end of the hallway. What if like the character just ran up and did a drop kick, like a WWE drop kick, and then just ended the movie? That was it.
Because like,
That's what I want to see.
no,
Like,
yeah.
what
Drop
happens
kicks and
then?
then falls.
That
It
would
doesn't
get-
hit
fight
anything.
or
That would get the
flight.
worst
They always show
like
us
rating.
fight.
Rotten Tomatoes 7%.
I get the best rating from everyone who like ironically watched
Mr. Lou's like that dude. He's like 5 stars, man. That's what I wanted.
Oh, all I want to say was, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there's never a lot of black people in horror movies for a reason. Because with black people, it's not a horror movie, it's a commercial. We see a ghost, we out. We're not interacting.
You don't play
Like,
games.
We don't play
You
games
don't play
with
games.
that. Like, at every family event, if anyone ever talks about paranormal stuff, we out the room. We don't take any of that
Mess around.
stuff with us. Like, I don't, like, do you guys ever see black people in horror
Us.
movies?
I don't
Us?
Us.
Like, is that really
Get
a
Out.
horror
But that
movie,
wasn't.
Get Out,
though?
yeah.
That wasn't.
Those weren't really like
paranormal.
paranormal.
Oh, yeah,
Those were
true.
just
you
like
won't find
horror.
us in those. It's
Yeah.
a commercial.
Right now,
It's
just
over.
horror, not paranormal. Like I don't remember.
Scary movie.
Have y'all ever
Right.
seen a Filipino person in a horror movie?
Oh
Because
my.
we're too religious to deal with it, and we're out, or we're too scared to deal with it, and we're out, or the person who actually wants to interact with the ghost gets dragged out by every other Filipino who's in the room.
Part of me wants the characters to like die. I'm like,
Like,
They die enough.
you deserve to die. Like,
and then the people that
I'm
don't
saying
deserve to die.
I can't call
Yeah.
them stupid because I would do the same thing.
what?
I would
You hear a
not.
sound scratching? Oh,
I
let me
see-
see you by myself.
No, I see a
Go
random
back.
little girl at the end of my hallway.
I'm like,
I'm
you
marching up to her,
Yeah.
and I'm
It's
asking
your
where her
fault.
parents are, or before I clock her.
Okay, yeah.
Before you clock it.
There's one more thing. There's one thing I wanted to add. Coincidentally, yesterday after watching Amityville Horror, I liked
love
it.
that one.
But I was reading, and apparently there's this. Please don't go to this, whoever's hearing this. But there's this haunted house in Tennessee, and it's weird. Like you might think, oh, haunted house, cheap, like jump scares, whatever. But apparently this one, you have to sign a 40-page waiver
This is the one
I
where
know
they
exactly
yell
what
you.
you're talking
that
about.
lets them do basically anything. It's like you
can
allow
touch
them
you.
to eat, to let them forcefully give you your own vomit or your own hair,
No
pull out
thanks.
your teeth.
Yeah.
Like no, they say that if that a lot of people
horror.
do it because apparently nobody has finished it, and if you do, you get 20 grand. And there's actually a line for people to try it. And there's this documentary on Netflix supposedly where someone describes, like there's this lady who describes how she went through it, but to this day nobody has gone through it or finished it. And I read a lot of the requirements.
Getting your teeth pulled out though?
I have a
That's not worth
question.
$20,000.
You,
Yeah.
you legally sign
you-
that they can torture you in any way.
Are you allowed to fight back, or is that part of the contract?
I think that's part of the contract. Like I don't know because a
don't
lot
know.
of it seemed fishy. And when I was telling my sister, she was like, "How are the owners not in jail?" Because a lot of it's like
I'm
should be
surprised they aren't
illegal.
illegal.
They're just sadists.
That
Oh my
works.
No,
God.
it's also like you also run the
It's that
risk
piece of
of
paper,
getting
man.
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, then you
because
might
the guys
die.
I think,
Not worth it.
excuse me.
Yeah, not worth it.
No, but nobody has finished it.
I wonder why.
Have people from inside
No.
been arrested? Because
They
I
probably
feel
die
like
from
workers
carbon
have been
dioxide.
should be arrested because they have
The
to
worst
enjoy
part-
what they do.
It's like a family house, so like on the other side of the house, he has like a 5-year-old and like a 7-year-old.
What the
Yeah,
nut?
and it's like in the middle of nowhere. Like there was this like
I
a
don't
picture
think you can
of
be
maps,
arrested
and
for
it's
being
just
a
like by
sadist.
itself. I think.
Like
But
the
for,
kids are
like,
trying to go to
peeing on
sleep and you
someone.
just hear screaming. So it's just like
It's
whoever's
another
going
day.
through.
No,
That's a
no,
different
day.
conversation.
Imagine
Just go
growing
to sleep,
up.
Charles. Like
Missing Charles, it's okay.
Your nightly routine is putting in the earplugs.
Alright, don't forget, if you hear screams, it's probably just, you know.
You guys don't hear screams at your house?
No, but
I
like,
thought that was the natural.
Only when I'm alone.
no, but for real, please don't go to that haunted house. It's not worth it.
Anyways, if anything spooky happens, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's
Sleep
like
for
That's
That's
the
the
way.
way.
That's the moral of the story. Go to sleep, man.
That is
Y'all better
literally
pray.
what I
Sleep it
do.
away.
Also,
like
Sleep
sage
away,
your house sometimes.
Pray.
Sage your house, move
cleanses
move
it.
from your
Sage
house.
yourself.
Sage yourself. Open up
Holy
that Bible.
water.
Stay away from Ouija boards.
Live in
bro.
a-
Drop
You don't want to be
Ouija boards
weird.
are fun, though.
Watch me ignore all this advice that we just got. Like,
Go to a
everyone here
haunted
has
park
experienced something.
And perform
Carry
a
it back
seance.
to the shower.
Record it.
Carry it back to the shower.
If your family's gonna do some ritual, go to a friend's house.
Or if you happen to see a demon, just like
Go back.
say hi.
No, don't
No,
interact.
Ignore it, pretend.
Go watch
Ignore
YouTube
it.
Give it
for
a peace
another
sign, then
hour.
walk out.
Or just be completely calm.
Right.
Just do one more episode and then go to
Just
sleep.
have a mini heart attack and go watch another YouTube video.
Be careful what you watch.
Don't pee on graves.
Don't be on graves.
Well, I mean, that one didn't do anything.
It's just
Not that we
disrespectful
know
though.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a rude thing
If you
to
do that, I hope something happens to you.
You do that.
Can we
then-
say bye now?
Imagine. Do we say bye?
Peace
out.
You always
Thank you,
say
guys.
bye if
Alright,
you're
stay
playing
safe.
with a Ouija board.
Yep, thanks for
Yeah.
watching
Always
and
say-
have a happy Halloween.
Always say goodbye.
Yes, bye.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Plot twist, we're all dead.